Good afternoon. It seems your dust made me have flu, so some of you gave me during practicals, and now I have to mask myself. One, to protect you, and two, to protect myself as well. The more I give you and I get back, it's dangerous. So as a reminder, this vaccine, as a reminder, we got the test 2. It's this Thursday, the 17th. From 14 to 15. And then our exam is then is a month after. So the 17th of May. Early morning on the Saturday, so we're going to have an outing together. Anyway, we have a now. Last time we were able to look at the logic families, but which fell under the combinational. Talked about combinational and sequential, but we had started on sequential, but we had finished the combinational logic circuits. And the combinational logic circuits were such that we have the output was dependent on the pressure or current variables or inputs. Was it variables or inputs? Like which one did we use? Inputs. And then for the sequential, then we talk of the past. We add the past, present, and past. Under the combinational, we looked at the diode logic. We added in a transistor to spice it up. And we said this is outdated, so we went transistor, and then we improved them to look at the couple of other logics, and that's where we looked at the mirror coupled logic is here, the complementary peroxide semiconductor, the CMOS, and now we went to the sequential, which was. So I don't remember exactly where I stopped. And I haven't bothered to look at the video to know exactly where I stopped. What was my last sentence? Kapure, what did I write last? Just a heading. Output depends on current and past inputs. E.g. free floats. That was after combinational. So combinational, I didn't explain that. Combinational was everything that we looked at under logic families. The DDL, the TTL, the DTL, and then the CMOS and the ECL. Okay? All those are coupled up. Because the logic gate, we needed to have present inputs. You have the X and Y, either high or low, and then it gives you an output. either low or high, depending on which gear it is. So now we look at the bistable under the sequential now. We look at the bistable vibrator. And this is related to the D14 is unstable, but which is a family of vibrators. How many of you have done D14? See, you just raise up like you. Now these negative charges which have defined the rules today badly. Alex, he said he doesn't want, so I'll follow someone else. I'm remembering your name. Is it Miro? No, Miro is Miro looked like someone else. Are you the Miro? What is your name? Senyang or Semiro. Mark. I think you are Mark. No, what is your name? Regan. Regan. The other one? Semia. Hey, you. And then Alex. Terms and conditions apply. You have to be in between the hill and you pass there. You want to locate where are you going to pass? Who gave me the fuse? We are about to finish. Why do you want to make my life difficult? I know whose fault it is. Okay, now we are in I was wondering what was wrong. Yes, now we are in equilibrium. Everything is working fine. No negative charges should always be near each other for reasons I can't explain. So we're going to look at the, if we have our VCC positive here, and then we have resistance if you could allow me to first draw, and then we see how it goes. So that then we got, I'm not going to draw the circles on the transistors, I'm just going to draw the different legs. Then we have another negative charge. Not two negative charges here. I think some of you sit together and say, let's make his life, let's make him suffer today by making sure that he tells us what to do. I do not tire to ask for what I want. We got the transistor here. purpose my transistor. Where is Valentina? Because when I hear the phone ringing and then making noise, I think about it. So this, we don't have any capacitor in it, so there is no like stored charge. And that's why we say bistable. We are calling it a bistable. We have two states. So plus VCC. So if this is output Q and this is output Q bar, when this one is light, okay, I'm using lighting because we are not seeing any light here. We could connect a LED, a light emitting diode here, to give us the status of this Q here, and then we can also have another LED here. If this LED, so when we have this LED lighting, this one wouldn't be lighting. And when this one is lighting, this one will be off. And those of you who have done B14, that's why I'm not doing a lot of theories, because you were able to experience it. First step, those of you who haven't done it, you will be having an oscilloscope showing you these two states. And then once you change the amount of, the values of the capacitors, which will be in place of this other resistor and another resistor here and another resistor here, then you will have some storage of your charge. But let's first draw this. Let me first label it. This is RC, another RC. These are identical transistors. Then we have RB, and then this is transistor T1, resistor T2, resistor R, and then this is minus BBB. Now the circuit, just to have some information about our circuit. The circuit has two possible stable states. And these two possible steady states are that we can have, when we have T1 on, then T2 is off. And then when we have T2 on, T1 is off. On the breadboard in the lab, I would wish you to, I will go the next one, then not the next one, the real one for the lab. I would wish you to put it the way it looks in the diagram, in the manual, the way it should appear on the breadboard. The breadboard has this pattern, where we have the supplies here. These are the, I think, ground. Then you have 5 volts. Then we have plus 15 volts, minus 15 volts with the potentiometer to adjust them. Make it like this, and then with these lines here, of course they are double, and then with these other boards, 3, 5, 5, 5, I think they are 3 or 4, because there are 2 values. Try to put these things the way they look if you want to get something. Otherwise, don't labor to put the way you want, and then when you want to know where the meter is of the transistor, you start looking for where is it now. And let me explain it when we reach the actual diagram that looks like it. Who can help me who can help us understand why when T1 is on, T2 is off? Yes,
I will try it.
Yes.
I am assuming that X is not a cross.
What? This no. This is by nomenclature. When I just cross two lines like this in electronics, they are not connected. If they are connected, I make sure I put a dot. Like I've been putting dots here. Well, here, just for purposes of showing you that here where they crossed, I put. But to make your point, I should have actually skipped for purposes of being sure.
So now,
yes. Let's start with this step of T1 is on, then T2 is off. Then you.
So T1 is on, meaning that there is some current probably flowing through IC.
Okay,
current IC.
let me add some juice. T1 on means that if I connected a light emitting diode here, here it would light. So you would have some flowing out of it. That's what it means by T1 on. That's what it means. T2 on means that if I put a LED there, it will be able to light.
Okay. So my understanding of this is that obviously the two transistors are interacting through their bases. The outputs of one transistor is influencing the bias on the other transistor, and therefore somehow affecting how that other transistor behaves. But I don't know exactly. So if my understanding was that if there is if this transistor is not taken through current, then the current is going to go to the base of the other transistor, and then influences, even if it shuts it down or something, and then the lights, the current will go through the
So the issue is that
vice versa.
the issue is that you get something to make this on when there is something able to flow via this side. And to be able to have something that goes this side, not through the transistor, there must be something coming this way to block the one which should have gone through the transistor and now eventually going through the LED. So for that to come from this way to this way, then it means that this one should be able to not block anything that would have made this other line LED to light. That's the essence. So if it is off, it means that everything had to flow to the ground and flow this way. It shouldn't be able to get anything that is blocked. Nothing should be able to flow here to block anything to light here. So everything should be blocked there. And remember, this one is also coming as a supply from this other ECC. And when it comes here, one would say, but that should be enough to light up the LED. And then remember, part of it is also going to this other one to bias it. But biasing means that if you have IB here, IB, if it goes on this other junction, stays there. And then that's when it blocks the the one which is coming from here, and then we utilize it for the on or off. So, but you need really to read more about transistors and how they work, so that then now it becomes easy for you to visualize the on and off. In the lab, you'll be able to see it comfortably when these two legs start alternating. And then I'll explain the application, including a signpost that was made by one of our former students. And that signpost is in the lab, and also the video is on the course. But my experience with the groups who have been doing this experiment, they have not seen that video. I don't know, why don't you scroll at least to the end to see what is on that page of the course study materials part.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I'm a bit confused with that LED showing light. So does it show light because of the current flowing through it, or the
Let me, it's okay. Let me write this sentence, this statement, and then I answer so that you. Okay, so T, what does it mean by T1 on? T1 on means that VBE1 is, this is the base of this is base 1, meter 1, collector 1. So the VBE1 is this. VBE1 is this voltage across here, and then VBE2 will be across here. So T1 is on if VBE1 is approximately equal to about 0.6 volts, and then VCE1, this side here, this output here, would be about 0.2 volts, and that means that it is saturated. How about T2? How does T2 be on? T2 is on when the VBE2, this VBE2 is here, VBE2 is approximately equal to minus VBB, and then VCE2 is approximately equal to VCE, and this implies that you have Q equaling to law, and then you have the Q bar equaling to or being for high. So this is like a NOT gate, where you have the NOT gate. You put 1, you get 0, you get Q bar. We are used to saying that if this is 1, this is 0. But Q, if it is low, then Q bar is. And T2 is on, and this is the reverse of that. T1 on, if T1 on, you have Q being low, and that means if T2 is on, the reverse happens, you have Q and then Q bar. I don't know whether you get the issue. If this is on, it is Q. If the other one is off, it is Q bar. The reverse occurs. Or the reverse, if you are taking Q as when it is off, being low. Now, for calculator, the values of the voltages are the ones which we are looking at. We could be supplying 6 volts, like we shall do in D14, but then that minimum amount, that 5 volts, is being distributed here. You're having part of it going this way, part of it coming to the transistor, and then part of it going this way. It's not that you make it not go anywhere. It's until when now you have the biasing from the base that you block some and then be able to reach an amount that will be able to cause circulation and be able to VCE1 around here and be able to get some light from the LED. And then it depicts as being on. And then the reverse now for the other state, you have it as off. Did you have good lunch? The way you are looking is like... So these are not part of the diagram. I just put them there for purposes of you getting some idea. Is anyone having issues with the...
That switch is it automatic by itself?
Yeah, it just works on its own. When this one is on, this one is off. And then when this one is, when it gets off, this one also gets on. So remember the operation of the gates, sort of the junctions. You get when the gap enlarges, then it blocks the current. As the current now, when the other also has, then this one is like they are in this combination. So the same process keeps going on. But we can improve it and store some charge instead. And when we store some charge, that's the one we have in the lab. We can do some little bit of adjustment and only maintain one state, one stable state. And we shall call that one a monostable multivibrator. And that means that we can remove the other names of a monostable are that you have a time switch, a monofrop. We have a univibrator or a one shot, just use a one shot. These are other names of the monostable multivibrator. And then that means that we store some charge on one of the transistors here. So on T1, we add a resistor and then a capacitor. So we have a capacitor here, and then we have a resistor here. And the rest, we keep it as it is. So RR, and we remove one of this R is the one which will take this one up here. And then we shall ground this one. So this is the R which was here. The rest remains the same. We call this one R2. We call this one R1. T1. This diode is not there. What else do I remove? RC, VCC. Then now I have V out here. Let me see, RC, then C, R2, then we have a V in here. We shouldn't be quick to finish the diagram before I finish. this current here, we have a chance of having the charge stored here being the one to trigger this transistor. But this one is just only biasing that part to allow the current to go here to charge this other capacitor. But the one where you really get something being seen will be when you have this capacitor releasing what it will have stored. And once we now make this left-hand side appear on the right-hand side, then we shall also have the charge to trigger this other transistor. So then we will be able to have the stable, the one with the two states. And that's where I normally say an example of the traffic lights, whereby you have this one lighting, the other one off. This one lights, the other one is off. And we are not concerned, but we are not having this state here, we are only having the output there. And that's why we call it one shot, or vibrator, a mono vibrator, a mono flow, has one flow, as other names. At all. Any problem? The circuit has only one stable. The circuit has only one stable state. And the second state is stable for only a limited time, determined by the value of the resistance and the capacity, determined by the RC. So this one is, before you get to know it, then it goes back to the other state. Then it goes back to the stable state. So you don't see the other one, it just then goes back to the other state. Now, the V in here is to trigger your circuit. V in is a trigger pulse. V in is the trigger pulse of short duration. Trigger pulse is the square wave, this one here. This is an example of the pulse, the trigger pulse. For the rest of the course, we shall be calling this one a clock. So when we talk of the clock, we mean that pulse. That's what we shall be taking as the clock. So the pulse of short duration. Now, if this one here makes the T1 to conduct. This one here biases the T1 and makes it to conduct. And then that means that it makes VCE, this one, VCE1 then this one which was here, which was VCC, once you make it conduct, once you bias it and now there is conduction, then it comes from what you are getting here as VCE1 as the value of positive VCC now goes down to 0 because everything conducts through the transistor to the ground. When the transistor is conducting, it means that now you have the flow here and everything is going this way. That's why we call a transistor a switch. If it is biased, then you conduct everything, so you won't get anything here. If it is not biased, then everything is, when you are blocking everything here, that means that you're getting value here. So if it is a lead here, if conduction is taking place, it goes through the transistor more than it will also through your light emitting diode. Do I make sense? Or you are?
What time does the capacitor charge?
It depends on the value of its value, and because the charging time T is called RC. This is the formula. So it will depend on the value of the capacitance and the value of the resistance.
So does this charge during the time when the transistor is open? When it's closed?
When this transistor is blocking the current through here, it has a chance to go here. That's when it is able to charge. Now when it is conducting, everything goes here. And when it also charges and fills, that's when now it is able to interact with this other transistor or bias this other transistor. And then you have the current blocked here, and then it comes this side. And then this one is just a pulse.
So that's
Trigger
the reverse bias? Because I'm seeing the capacitor there is on the other side you have a negative. Is it a negative side?
This is positive.
On the left side?
Here. This is output. What we would call our VCE. And for transistor 1, this is VCE1. So this part here is your output, VCE1, determined by the nature of either blocking whatever is happening here. Whether that will block this one to come this way, or will swallow it to leave nothing coming out here. Transistor does not produce any voltage.
So I'm looking at, okay, say you have because that transistor is connected, not transistor, the capacitor has three
places it can get things.
So you have the RC on the left, RC1. There is something coming in there from...
Whatever comes from here down, which of course is the direction, and here down, they are the same.
They are the same.
Now, assuming nothing else is available, these two hustle to go through here because they are all coming.
So then that's capacitor.
It is until, assuming that we have nothing here and nothing there. These two are the same, they are flowing in the same direction, they will reach the capacitor and nothing is happening because they are all coming from the VCC.
Yes.
Now when you connect this and connect that, they can't, we shall never get the charging of this capacitor being more than here or here to flow upwards. So the flow can be just to go down or to go this way. Now, so the next bit is dependent on what is here. It has to be this way, here. Now when it goes this way, then it influences how much comes this way. How much comes this way influences how much comes here to block, to kind of allow this one to either go this way or now have a flow this way. So I let you now go and hustle and see how that flow comfortably goes around. You need the other. Does that make us friends? That you have to do your part? So it makes this situation of the triggering here, this is just a pulse to make sure that this is happening in a regulated way, not that it should just happen on its wheel. If it is high, then you have an interruption of this biasing here. If it is low, then you have that effect on the transistor here, and that now helps you to regulate the charging and discharging in a regulated way of this capacitor. Kevin, you remember those things, or you have forgotten? So if it makes this V in here, it makes the transistor T1 conduct, and this conduction will be able to, that is thereby making VCE 1 jump from plus VCC to 0. We normally jump, I think we can jump both ways. We can jump up and jump down, isn't it? Can't we jump up and down? I know somebody would wish to say fall from VC plus VCC to 0. I'm just trying to, this is just English grammar. I said jump from plus VCC to 0, so I can jump down. If I'm on this step, I can jump down. Falling down means that maybe it's uncontrollable, but if I'm jumping down like Jack Chan, is Jack Chan still around? So we draw the so we have in the lab we say that we have to draw these waveforms. All if you have V in, if you have V in, you have V out, then you have something else that you make sure that all of them are in the same, on the same line. They share the same vertical axis but different horizontal. So I'm drawing this to show you that if we have a pulse, V in as this pulse, then we can get the VCE. VCE will be the opposite or inverted pulse. That is the VCE1. And then the output, this one here, the output will be this one of charging for some time. And then it falls. So which we would say that T1 is on. So this is the TW, if you remember. The time when we are above 50%, and this is the output. And those of you who have done T14, if we now duplicate this one, then we will have that when this one was, when that one was giving us this output, this one will be flat. And then when it is giving us an output, this one will be flat. And then it repeats itself. That's where we are going. But I want you to be aware enough. So we improve this to an unstable multivibrator. stable multivibrator, and this is simply a multivibrator, and both states are stable. Hence, it's an oscillator. Hence, it is an oscillator. It oscillates between these two states. And the idea is that we now put this other resistor here and put another capacitor here. So we have the capacitor. RC is the collector. Don't confuse RC with this capacitor. They got nothing to do with each other. This is the collector resistor. It implies that the only resistance that is being connected with the charging of the capacitor is this other resistor. So we have the resistor here. And then this will be R1. This is R2. And we got no, we don't need to do any triggering. So I remove this resistor. And then we shall have this going to the ground. In the book, in the manual, this one is also connected. The wire is blown out here. And then grounded once. So we got T1, T2, and then we have these 2 points for your true and true bar. And of course, they are the outputs of these two transistors, T1 and T2. So I just want to check whether everything is okay. This is for 2. This is C1 charged from R1. We still have positive VCC. And this is experiment D14. So after connecting this, and this is how you are supposed to connect it, you're supposed to make sure that the breadboard is lying like this, with the blue lines for ground, red one for 5, and then you have these buttons which died. One of the breadboards died. You have the ground which has a red thing. I want to say it here because I'm also getting tired over talking in the lab. I want to make sure that the last week of lab I just come there and go around, maybe also take tea. So you have red, there is red but the black one is there. It's one of them, the one on D1, I think. It's because they cannot, the two were not fitting where they are supposed to be, but they fit on the other way. And then you have, so this is plus 15, this is minus 15 volts, plus 15 volts potentiometer, and then this was supposed to be 5. But on this experiment, you have to use a multimeter and get 6 volts from here to supply along here. So along this line here, I would wish you to use any of these reds inside here, and then you put the resistances as they look in the diagram. So you put the other legs in the holes along the red, and then you put the yellow, the beginning of the experiment, the 0.01, the 0.1 microfarad capacitor, they are yellow, very huge, very big ones. And so you put them across here, you get the leg, you put here, you put the other leg there, and then finally you go to the transistor. And the transistor, I will explain in the lab, the legs of the transistor, once you make it stand like this will be the emitter. If this is the top view, the flat part facing this way. And this would be the base, and this would be the collector. The base has a chance to be, this leg could also be put this side. Now if it is put this side, so it means that if this was the connection here, then you can still connect, still place it the way it looks, and now make the leg go this side. So if the leg was this way at this point, just make the leg go this way, not again to make it upside down to make sure the flat part. Some of you want to make sure that the two look like this, so that they present the same as the way they are facing each other here. No, you can still make them be placed the same way, but the only difference is that the base is going inside here and the base is this way. I will explain in the lab when you are looking at the actual transistor. Otherwise, so please, those who haven't done D14, try to connect it the way it looks in the circuit diagram. So you are now comfortable that the two things that this T is equal to RC, the RR that is connected to charging are these two. This one for this, and this one for this one here. And so this one is simply the collector, these are simply collector resistors through which the current flows from the VCC, the supply voltage, towards the collector. And then, so when there is current flowing here, and this one is off, when this one is conducting, then this one starts charging, because there is flow of current through the capacitor. When it fills up, when it fills up, you know that when your phone fills up, the light that shows you that it is charging goes from, it used to go from those Celtel phones. Any one of you who had the Lord Celtel, apart from that? Celtel phones, those bricks, people used to put it here. And he walks, even if you stole it, you cannot easily sell it, because to own even a SIM card, to get a SIM card was a problem. So by then there were no things of phones. So people would carry them here to show that they are loaded. So those kind of phones, Ericsson and the like, they had two lens placed together, but you would see the indicator as if it is one lens which is turning from one color to the other. So it would be red as you are charging, and then when it is fully charged, then the green one lights, and then you see it is green. Nowadays we have, when you plug the USB in your phone, then it starts charging. And then it starts telling you 2%, 5%, 100%, and then it puts green and says fully charged. And then it's up to you to plug it out or continue working when you are keeping your phone fully charged, especially if you are hoping to go somewhere that you have no charge. So once this one is fully charged, that means now you have a lot which needs to be expended, but cannot be expended through here. It now gets expended through here. And then now it biases this one. Blocks here, now you get the light here. So the sequence keeps going on. And this is the idea of the traffic lights. If you place the LEDs here, that's why we have the red and the green. And then in the intermediate, you have a monostable vibrator for the yellow or amber. So that's why you get the red, and then for the time this capacitor charges up, if it is charging, if the combination of this resistor and this capacitor here are charging up, the time is like 5 minutes. Then the vehicles are allowed to pass for 5 minutes. Once the 5 minutes are over, the monostable here, the amber one shows up for a short time. You remember we said it is for a short time. It does so for the circuit has only one stable state for a monostable, and the second state is stable for only a limited. I don't know why this one is here. For a limited time, and this limited time is why you see that amber, that yellow light on the traffic lights, and then it goes off, and then the other green, the red one comes in, and then you stop. Then the other blue goes on. So my argument has been with. I wrote to Ministry of Works one time and said, can't you now make a money option so that at one area, being that it is a T junction, this is Kampala, this is why say this is Mulago, and this is Makerere here. If it is peak hours, an officer can come here with this big head. Don't report me. Instead of making us do wrong things, it is really saying, come, and they are serious, come. You are driving, it is red light, but the guy is telling you, come, and if when you are slow, it's like then you pass there when it is red and times you from there side like come, he say come. First takes your part, and after he has looked at it, say, how are you, Mr. TWINAMASIKO? He said, I'm okay. And then he starts saying, can I ticket you or not? So instead of doing that, my idea is that can't we have a money option to elongate this time, this RSC? Could be remotely done. Could be even with a walk-talking with some control guy at the control center of these traffic lights. Each traffic light can have a control person. We create jobs by that. In Europe, you go there and then you find somebody is in charge of just always tendering to the compound flowers. They normally do it as a summer job. Some of you, I think, any one of you has been employed by that option, or you don't want to be looked at as a needed person. When I was out, I was distributing newspapers. That was my job. At 2 a.m., you wake up, you pick, the phone rings, you pick it and put it back. That is login. You go pick papers from like at game. You find they have already dropped them there. You go to Coloro, you distribute them by 6, you should be done. You reach home, you remove the phone, you put it back. You have logged out. And if you have a relative who is on jail and you eat their money, you know that if they came back, they can easily kill you. You get the point? If you have a brother or sister abroad and they send you some money and you are like, yeah, the house is at him, and you are taking people's houses, photos, and for you are living large, it is hectic to make money when you are abroad. So that manner option, I don't know. And then the woman told me, you write to the general, then you can talk to the technical people, and maybe it can be worked out. I hate when somebody tells me, be formal, write formal and so on. So I've already given you an idea. You go and research and implement it. Also in Europe, beyond 10 p.m., these lights, they are the monostable here. The monostable here, the amber ones, the yellow ones keep blinking, and then for you, you sort yourself. You can imagine you're at Ginger Road, and it is 3 a.m., and you are waiting for this RSC time. You are there, Chifesi is moving around. And so this one was implemented. So I thought it could be done that way, and then there is like a control pad where a police officer can make sure. Oh, just a switch, a manual switch where you can say green now. You make the one from Kampala to Boise light green, until, as the other one you have put it red, for this one, black or material here, until when they are over. And then you will put green for, or red for YC, and you allow these ones. At Nakawa it is worse. They even tell you to use the other lane. So sooner or later I'm waiting for when I'm driving in town and I'm following a truck and I violate a light of red and the policeman stops me. I say, I'm used to be told to go when they are red. I was not seeing anything, so I thought you were telling us to come. To come. Then I see, you will ticket me. It's a loss, but I would have made my point. Like one time got me at one day. The ones coming to Makerere, no, the ones coming from Makerere town were coming, so I decided to also go. But my light here was red. So he was waiting for me here, so he stopped me very early morning. Then he said, but you, I told him logically, do you see any vehicle that I would have interrupted? He was very annoyed. He said, he looked at me like this, he said, the law is the law. The law said that you are not supposed to move because the light was red. I said, but which law? You should use law logic. He said, I'm going to ticket you. Then I got my phone. Because I had been at that junction taking videos for some other purpose, but mainly for that to see how traffic is flowing. So I showed him from my Facebook page. And I showed him, I said, we are actually working on improving this junction. And now he talked nicely. Like, okay. Actually, this was always a problem to us when those ones from Kampala also wait instead when they should have gone. Now when we release them, there are too many. So I left it off into the vehicle again and went out. And of recent, I proposed at if anyone who stays on the Ginger Road going to Mukono, if you find there is a difference, you can tell me. At Nambole, people would branch off from Chireka and go via Nambole, again come back to the Ginger Road. So I proposed that those ones should be made to suffer and follow, because the northern bypass was made to ease the flow of our goods to Mombasa. So the ones from Mombasa should also flow nicely via Nambole down to the northern bypass. And for the last week, whenever I will be going, I will check. The flow has been improved. I don't know if anyone of you stays along the journey. The designer was very clever. It was called Northern Bypass, but you would find trucks stuck there. Big trucks. Even to join that place would be a struggle. You would find someone struggling with his truck to refuse you to enter. Now, for the last week, the times I checked, the floor, the place was empty. Just for one small adjustment. Now, one of our students, like I've already said that, took advantage of that, of these two bistable states. The one here being on and here being off, and instead made a parallel connection of words. Welcome to, we did that signpost for just an open day we had. Welcome to physics department. So when this one is off, this one is welcome. Then this one on to, then physics department. Welcome to physics department. And that signpost, I put it on the web. The video is there. It's not good, but that's the camera I had by that time. And then in the lab, the defunct signpost is still there. I normally show it after the experiment. I'm explaining this because we have a group which may not do D14 because of the overflow, because of bad Friday or Good Friday. So that's why I'm taking time to explain this experiment, which is the last within the course. All these other experiments within the course, we have exhausted. So it's up to you. This student was taught the multivibrator. For him, he saw an opportunity to make money. He designs more normal signposts, but adds on. Then it's a normal signpost. It's the welcome to physics department. But then he puts LEDs along the words, and then those LEDs are connected to this state. For a word, all of them are connected to this one. But whenever it is in on state, then they light. Well, but for us, we are now interested in the electronics, so we shall draw. This experiment says draw the waveforms at collector 1, collector 2, base 2, collector 1, emitter 1, and emitter 2. And so I will draw these lines for our variable so we have VC1, so this one, VC1, collector 1, you have when the capacitor is charging, so this is on, this is on, this is on, and then the opposite for VC2 happens. So I don't know whether I should start it like this, but I think let's start it from here like this so that we don't have funny bits before the graph. So this is off for VC2. This other one will be off, and then when this one is off, it is on. So it alternates. And these graphs are also in graphic. Well, those of you who have done experiment, I'll bring graphic, just like I do on experiment 10, to make sure that you do not draw flowers. The reason I say flower is because here I have drawn this, and maybe that oscilloscope. But one of the E10, the oscilloscope does not show the down, this other rising part shows this, the falling part doesn't show, the rising part doesn't show, so you see things which are just like that. Now, when you have clamping, or you get a frequency response of this pulse here, and you have used, I think, 2 of the power supplies, then you get so if you were to get discharging, and then, so if this is the ozone, and then you get charging in the opposite, and then you get discharging again. So you find that these parts are not there, and you are having like flowers, like here, and then you have here, then you have here. So you find some students have ever drawn for me these things like this. You draw like this. Because the oscilloscope is not showing these falling times. I mean, rise time and fall time, rise time. So this is the T1, the time for when the first one is on and the other one is off. This is T2. And so T1 is equal to R1, C1, log to base P of 2, or natural log of 2, and then T2 is equal to R2, the sum of T1 and T2. And if you want to know, since it is an oscillator, you can find its frequency as the reciprocal of the period. Now, you got computers, not just the big box you may find on your laptop, but also the phones you have are computers. They are even made life easy, and they call them smartphones. So meaning that, or if you are typing, if you have typed, and now it is even worse on social media, if you have been watching violent movies, when you are on social media, that's what you have been watching. One time you find that your timeline is just full of fighting videos, because that's what you have been used to, because it can remember. And now with artificial intelligence, I don't know why I love this thing again. With artificial intelligence, which people now have tried now to make, to hype. People are hyping in artificial intelligence, but artificial intelligence, you started enjoying it when you entered kindergarten. That is my understanding. The moment you started learning things that are not natural to you, that you didn't learn them because of where you come from, then you started enjoying artificial intelligence. Lawyers are good people who can express what artificial intelligence is. They go with big files, and then when they are arguing the case, they keep they keep just touching their things, and they're like, Your Honor, according to the annex I gave you, Annex A15, the case of London Mayor against the businessman, so and so, about his industry, the precedence that was set was that we cannot punish harm for using a manipulator because that is not good. He's a businessman who helps our country. That is artificial intelligence, but at a very slow speed, because you have to open the pages, then tell the judge the appendix you are talking about. For the computer, it goes and picks things from everywhere, then makes them related to what you wanted to talk about. And you just tell AI, tell ChatGPT, and say, I want you to make for me a presentation of 15 minutes explaining about the multivibrator. And then in just a few seconds, it will start by telling you introduction, then it puts a sentence, then this. Then after that, then AI goes and now picks pictures, voices. Do you want a woman voice or a male voice? Then it picks. Do you want soft or rough? Then it rings, and then it picks those things and explains those ideas. I made a couple of videos. If you look at the course, that introduction to electronics is an AI video. I created it using AI, only that I forgot to put my names there. I was supposed to make it talk about me being the one teaching the course. Then the one about resistors, diodes, semiconductors, I think the one on semiconductor is good. It shows you videos of how those people put on those. We are talking about how we integrate the DL and TTL within an etched semiconductor and make either 74, is it 74 LS 3200 etc. After putting all these things inside there. But of course, I don't know whether it's an African problem. Anything new when it comes, even when Facebook came, people were now teaching about Facebook. You can do marketing on Facebook. You can do this on Facebook. Now Facebook is like something which is, now it is WhatsApp. Even my colleagues now use WhatsApp groups to give you notes and the like. You'll never get that from me. You have to use it well. Because where I can track the problems that are there, I can have a course log of the whole course. But now this one leads us to this other section we are going to conclude with on this sequential logic, which are the flip-flops. And the flip-flops are the circuits which are embedded within a computer. So when you are trying to do coding, next year you'll be doing, I think next semester, you'll be doing computer programming in physics. When you are doing that programming, you'll be busy doing some flip-flops. You'll be just dealing with circuits within a computer. And then they will be able to remember a few things. And remembrance of those few things collectively eventually will give you a program. And then you will be able to do a maneuver or whatever you want. And just like we have been dealing with, or we are still dealing with digital electronics, we are dealing with high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. How we combine these high and low, we can make an image, a photograph, we can make a sound, we can make a video in motion, or anything we wish, but we are only using two states, high and. So we do flip-flops. Unlike the diode logic where when I would switch off, the LED would just go off, the multivibrator was able to remember. The multivibrator would know, hey, the other one was, T2 was on and I was off. Now that it is off, I'm now on, so it wouldn't interfere. It would wait for it. I'm off. Is he now okay? He's done being on. Let me now, going off. Let me now go on. So it would always remember the last state. You can't have those lights lighting and then at one time they are like, okay, no. Like how some soldiers, when they are walking and they misstep, and then sometimes it is misinterpreted. So a flip-flop is a device that can store a binary digit. We can take a case of a beat. Now, the bistable multivibrator, is the basic storage element. But its comments cannot be changed. You can't change those comments. You have just two states, on, off, on, off. But you can interpret them. You can utilize them. You can utilize them for your purpose. Yes, they are just on, off. But if your on can now play a tune, then that tune can be made to be repetitive. And eventually, if you combine them, you get something which is harmonic. And if it is harmonic, it becomes musical. If you get your phone and you go to FM, you can make it scan through channels. And then those channels get placed. in a given order. So you know 91.3 is capital FM, if you in Kampala, 88.2 is sub FM. And then when you scan, if you are in a place where those channels are not functional, your channel 1 may be actually a different radio station. Similarly, on the TV, within the satellite TV, when you do auto search, then it searches. And when it is searching, you cannot interrupt unless if you switch off. And sometimes switch off by the wall. Otherwise, it will say, leave me to first go through the steps. Now, when you want to get these channels again, then you have set them, you have to do a reset. So you have a reset and set as the two options you have. Set, reset. Set, reset. If you are using your calculator, when you tap that is high for that value, you say 2, then plus 2 or plus 3, then you go to equals. You are trying to deal within the circuits. You are trying to do in the circuit. You are on, if it is addition, you are on a summing. You remember summing arm? You are summing. So you are having V1, then you add on, adding V2, then you say equals, then you get the output, and then it does the calculation. But for you, what you are seeing here is 2, you are just hitting the buttons, 2 plus 2 equals, then you get. Whatever is going behind is a bunch of these other stuffs we are going to look at, flip-flop, D-latches, that will be doing the processing. So we start with the reset, set, flip-flop. So let's write it as reset, set, flip-flop. And we can use the NOR gates to construct them. And these NOR gates is that the NOR gate is an OR, a not OR. So we can use 2 NOR gates and then have so we have 2 inputs, reset and set. And then we have, when we reset, we get the output and feed it in here. And then the output of the set, we feed it in this part here. Of course, if it was set, the reverse of set is reset. And then here we get the output as we have a Q and a Q bar. So S is set input, and then R is the reset input, and then Q and Q bar are the states, which are complementary outputs. Complementary that when one is off, the other one is on. So that's why we call them complementary outputs. They cannot all be on or off. They have to be complementary. The truth table of this, since we are using logic gates, the truth table that results from this circuit here, and this corresponds to experiment D2. D2 you can do a few, but D2 was mainly about the Boolean algebra, not about flip-flops. The flip-flop is part of the D14, which I have been telling you to skip because I couldn't now start talking about reset set, 2 states, 1 state. I also get exhausted, but maybe those who are going to do the experiment going forward, that is from tomorrow, you should finish everything. if you want that experiment to be part of the best done. So we have reset set. Finally, Paul talks. What are you saying? It's quiet now when I'm talking about the best done. His voice came up. Now you're that's well, I'm not going to do that. You have done the other ones. You have done E10, you have done E15, you have done all these other practicals which coincided with when we have already finished the sections or the theoretical sections. So if set and reset are zero, if they are wrong, what would we expect in the output? In the next, the Qn plus 1 is like the next state. You haven't reset, you haven't set, what would you get? There is no next step we have, we just have the first, we have the Q. And then we go on with our 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and then 1. So if we have not reset and we have set, and then we have not reset, and then the output here, I don't know whether you get the idea. So if we no set, and then come here, whatever you had not reset, so you have an output here which will come back here, and whatever comes out here goes here, so we can remain with these states here of this and this. So 0, 0, and so that will give you the first state. And then this one will give you 1. This will give you 0. If you have reset and you haven't set, what are you setting? Or what would you reset? This one here, you have not reset, but you have set. Of course, there is something that comes up from this other part. And then finally, you cannot set and reset at the same time, can you? The normal way of saying it is you cannot have your cake and eat it, or eat it and have. Do you know what it means? You cannot do bad things and have a good life. That's what it means, and think that all will be okay. Like you wronged me, and then you expect me to continue laughing with you. That's the essence of you cannot eat your cake and have it. So you cannot set and reset at the same time. And we use a star to kind of show the not allowed. It's not allowed state. This is an unstable condition. You can't have this state. You can't reset and set at the same time. If, let's say you are trying to set and search through the channels of your FM when you're on the phone, at the same time immediately you are resetting them. How? It cannot be possible. We've always made sure that whatever component we work with in electronics, we give an equivalent or we give a representation of the circuit symbol. So when we are drawing circuits, this is the circuit symbol of a flip-flop, a reset set flip-flop of reset, set, flip, draw a box. All those components here, we put them in a box. These ones here, we have the outputs as Q, the complementary outputs as Q and Q bar. And then we have the inputs as reset and set. We can also implement a reset set flip-flop using the NAND gates. So we can use the NAND gates using NAND gates, and the same thing. We draw the NAND gates. Complementary outputs QQ bar, and then have a set, set input, and then we got this one. They are not connected. These things I should be drawing them as this, but it is laborious. So I'm keeping faith with you that whenever we have crossing wires and they are not having a dot, they are not coming. We can give them some bit of parts. And do you wanna try out the truth table? The circuit symbol is still the same. What has changed are the gates we are using. So we can enable, so we can have a reset, set flip-flop, and put some pulse, which we had there. We'll enable, and this one means that if we had this set of flip-flops, so not flip-flops, but the gates, we can have, for starters, a reset, and then for the other inputs, we put a pulse, we put a clock to enable. So we put a pulse, make them, and then finally they feed into this other. This one is feed into the two NANDs. So we have added an enable circuit here. These are have I had a break? Not even trying to pretend, but I had one when I was explaining about the craft coffees. I tried to take a break in the night. So this one will be around here. I'm told that some of you said that you find stress in physics department and you want to major in math. There is no sweet without sweat. You go to math, the best you will go to is insurance. Yeah. And maybe if you get COVID around again, you go to mathematical modeling of the But with physics, you'll be able to go to Morocco and do medical physics and be in radiology. And Monday, now that A-level students are busy shying away from PCB by doing BCM. So when you go as a radiologist, even the medical doctors will be kneeling down for you. They say, what can I now do to this patient? How much of the reactive material? Because they don't remember any reactivity, okay? And so you can go to Civil Aviation Authority. Of course, those who are teaching, you can straight go to your teaching job. I finished immediately when I was going for my last school practice. I went to, I chose a school where I can set my terms. And my terms were, I need a house with 2 rooms, sitting room, bedroom. And I got that. We argued for some good salary, they didn't give me, but at least there was hope. I think I still demand, but I moved on. I am not a person who keeps a grudge. I kept on, I moved on and did other things. So we got these other parts here, as the where is the other one. This other side. So don't be misled, really. It will be easier in math because you do some, chop a couple of equations, then get your, probably you'll get 80s. But how many of, you'll get, if you got 10, 20 first classes, they will choose a couple of, you'll be lucky. The best one is now with Zeno, is making some money, has prospects to go in another place. But I believe you have more opportunities when you do physics compared to, not compared, but you are at an advantage. You can even do your stuff. But there is no sweet without sweat. If you expect that you are just going to come here and enjoy and then life becomes easy, I think, forget about it. You have to really chop. So the circuit symbol is same box we had. Same box, but with now the 2 outputs are still I'm not putting it here because this is not a circuit, it is a symbol, so it has to be on the gadget itself. These are just showing like legs. I can't look at the end of the leg. So this will be Q, and then this one will be Q bar, and then here we have the set. Now we have the set, but here we are putting in a clock. We are punching in the clock here. Sometimes you find that this clock is this part put here like this. But on this, I put it since you will find it. And then the truth table is that we have 3 scenarios. We have when we set, we put a pulse and get the next state, showing +1. And so we do the normal 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. And then we have the clock. We can have there is another one where there is nothing at all. So we have, let's put the other state when we got nothing at all. So we got 1, 1, and then we have nothing. Let's use X for nothing. And let all these states be there when we are having a pulse. And then this nothing when we have no pulse. And then we said that the first, this when we have not set, we said we can take that one as the first step. And then when we set, And we haven't set, but we are setting. Much as we have the clock, we get anything on the state. We have any state, we haven't set, so we can't have anything. And then we set, we haven't set, we have just set. The clock is running, so we get the channels being scrolled through, being searched. We can never set and reset at the same time. Even here, you can't set and reset at the same time. You can't say, run through the channels. They say, no, repeat it at the same time. And then when you haven't done anything, but you have, and then you have no clock, you still have the like a default. It's like a default for starting. It's more or less when you had no setting, no set. And we have this as not allowed, so or unstable. This style is not allowed. You can't allow reset set. You cannot come here to campus to study and also club at the same time. You try and get A's or first class. If you do it, come for a gift. Come with your complimentaries of clubbing and come with your transcripts. If you have a first class and you have been clubbing every Tuesday or whatever, Tuesday, Thursday, which are the days, our time students used to go on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I had neighbors. I was in the third year, I was in a single room. I had neighbors who were, one was doing veterinary, another was doing a look, and they used to come and say, we got complimentaries to, I think it used to be called VOG. I never went to any club when I was young. But I danced all the how do they call these Afro stones and whatever, and the lumbos. That thing is called what? There's a word for it. There's a word, these days do they have it? Your VC said that now you debate intellectually. You have like an AI life. When you want to enjoy, you just go to ChatGPT and see how life is and enjoy it virtually. There's a way they call that loombox or Afro stone, mutual legs. Those are the only ones, I think. We would go to the library up to 11 p.m. and then we would first keep our maram. We go to the library up to 11 p.m. on a Saturday. We go boil water, eat our maram, then we go dancing. That one for here, if it was on campus, I danced it. But I never went to any club. So these boys would come with complimentaries and say, we want to go to the whatever, you only need transport, these are complimentaries to take you. I used to tell them, you go, you'll be telling me the stories of how nice it was. I have no, the rest is history. If I want to go to the club, assuming I could, now I can sponsor myself, even at peace. But I can't go there. Because I will never know who I'm dancing with. I may dance someone with a wig when I reach here, then you are looking at me, remembering on So I wouldn't go either, even if I was to be tempted to go.
You can go to
No. I want to keep my peace. Because when these girls are going to club, I think they put on they change. So If I was to go there and enjoy, I may. And I think there are lights there, isn't it? I may not be able to see properly. Maybe I can say, bring your ID. Bring your ID. Okay, so we now look at the D flip-flop, and this is called the data latch. And this is the basis of programming. A data latch is able to keep the data and recall it. And this is the basis of, for example, when we talk of the, remember the computer has two memories. It has a random access memory, which we normally call RAM. So the speed of your laptop is measured by the RAM. How the random access memory, just whatever you are trying to visit, it keeps it somewhere in what they call a cache. And this cache is where the websites, like if I got your phone, if I asked you your phone, I can easily know what you are doing. I just got the history of your browsers, I got your there's a folder in your internal memory, in your internal storage, and then I see everything that you visited, that whenever you were downloading, like WhatsApp. When you watch a video or a photograph, there is a WhatsApp folder that is created, and all those images go there. Some people say it's the gallery. And that's why when they brought this thing of not being able to screenshot your photo, or that one-time photo. So one time I was in a workshop, and then some lady shared her photo, one-time photo. So I moved with two phones. So when it opened, after taking the other phone, so I shared the photo. See, but I said, okay, you said you shared, so if we also, we can see again. Also, there's that folder is able to keep the cache, is able to keep the things that you have seen. It is random access memory, because if you troubleshooting is if you restart, like if you open your phone, remove the battery, put it back and switch it on, everything disappears. Not for WhatsApp, because for WhatsApp it saves, but the things you were temporarily watching, like if you open a website on a computer, those small images you see there, those which keep blinking, the GIFs, the button images, they are saved somewhere for easy viewing as you go around, like in web. But once you reset, that's why after some time, some of your computers become clogged. They are now losing memory, but you don't see where the problem is. That's how it keeps piling up. So until when you go to the browser and say clear history, and all those small images and small videos are cleaned out. And that is because we are able to save some data using, for example, the data latch and these other flip-flops we are talking about. So this eliminates the how do we call the other state which was very limited? It was not useful. So we say it eliminates the unwanted state. And what was the unwanted state?
This one.
This one here. So the R equal to S equal to 1 by making R equal to S, okay, to not S. So we shall make the R here. We shall get the R coming from the set and then invert it. So we shall have a not S coming instead of So we are having this same circuit, and we only introduce the node. So since you are nice to me, allow me just do the honors here. So I will do this, and then have the clock go this way, and then come, and then have the NOT gate here. And then feed in there. And then I'll have this one as D. And then the rest is the same. So the circuit symbol is having the complementary outputs, and then the D, and now we are remaining with the clock. The D and the clock. So put them inside for the circuit symbol. It is for the circuit that we put them outside. And now we have a different truth table. And then the truth table is that we got DC, clock, and the input D. And then we have the next state, QL plus 1. So we start with D not being put in, and then C being no clock. Then that's the beginning. And then we have D being 1, clock being, being 0, then clock, and then here we have D being 1 and clock being 1. And then we have eliminated the one where we can have both being the same. Then we have this one as, if we have the set D's, just because we are using a data large, but this is the set. If we have not set it, much as we have a clock, would we have any state? We have not set it. Yes, we have a clock pulse. Would we have any state? Joe. Would we have any state? We have set, we haven't set, we have a clock pulse. Would we have any state? I mean, would we have an output, like a next state? So then we have nothing. But if we have set and we have a clock pulse, then we get something high. We get something. Just don't know whether I can get any minutes back. We are almost there. We are left with edge-triggered flip-flops. Then we have a toggle. Toggle is like how we use the caps lock. Caps lock, same button. Caps lock on, caps lock on. Number lock on, number lock on. Or if for us who enjoyed radio cassettes, you would toggle between pause and play. Same thing, pause, and then you step on the same thing, and then it starts playing. That's the toggle. After those, then we look at counters, ripple counters, and then we convert. So let's finish this part of the flip-flops tomorrow. We do a test on Thursday. Next week we convert from analog to digital, digital to analog, and then we say bye-bye to the course. Are you happy? Oh, you are laughing the way it is Paul who is making you laugh, and I think I'm part of the excitement. Any yes, good man? So if this is Q0, like this one means what is the next state. So assuming 2n is representing what if it is low, like the first one is low, the next one will be high, or something like that. We have two states, high, low, high, low. So if the state one was low, the other one of course will be high. Our time is up. My list, and then we meet tomorrow at 2 for the Wednesday group, and then Thursday we do our test. The test will cover up where I would have stopped tomorrow. From where I stopped